The Chunin Exams are trials where Naruto's villages have an opportunity to put fledgling shinobi to the test and determine whether or not they're prepared to reach the next level in becoming a true ninja. Through grueling tests, their survival skills, teamwork, and intelligence are all pushed to the limit, and their performance is recorded by their mentors to be assessed appropriately. The nature of the exams is similar to those of Hunter x Hunter's licensing tests, begging the question, how would the series Hunters manage under Naruto's circumstances? Would fail. Pockle. Despite surviving the Hunter exam against the Zoldycks and someone who would become a member of the Phantom Troop, Pockle does not possess the competence, survival skills, or mental fortitude to see him through the forest of death. During the Chimera Ant arc, he was among the first hunters to be captured by his primordial opponents, with Neferptah gouging essential knowledge of Nen through literally picking at his brain. If he somehow managed to survive the forest, he'd fail in direct tournament combat against the series' participating shinobi. Would pass. Kurapika. Kurapika's Nen restriction to only use his scarlet eyes on the Phantom Troop would debilitate his quest to pass the trials, though it would not staunch it entirely. He's shown creativity in protecting his employer and their daughter against many serious threats, alongside other hired mercenaries, demonstrating teamwork and cooperation to attain success. This would be an invaluable asset in the Forest of Death, as it's a primarily team-oriented exercise. Additionally, his unwavering conviction would see him through the first written exam, leaving only ninja opponents to contend with. He may not be able to defeat all of them, though. He would perform admirably enough to pass, like Shikamaru. Would fail. Nove. Despite being one of Isaac Netero's most trusted advisors, Nove does not have the mental conviction to complete the trials. Merely gazing upon one of Miriam's royal guards aged him rapidly and mentally regressed him, and he withdrew from the mission shortly after. Nove's portal ability may be a useful teamwork utility and a tremendous supportive asset for the Forest of Death, though it's unlikely he would possess the gall to persist against the written exam, much less be willing to face Orochimaru or similarly horrifying Sound Ninja. Would pass. Moral. Easily one of the most stoic and resolute members of the Hunter Association, Moral's accomplishments overshadow many of his constituents. He faced off with a royal guard by himself, defeating one of the fastest Chimera Ants in Miriam's rank, and outsmarted Lyorio by using his own abilities against him. His uncompromising disposition would enable him to see past the first exam's deception, and his versatile Deep Purple ability would be perfect for teamwork. Moral's haze would also be a valuable asset in a solo fight, placing him as a semi-finalist at a minimum. Would fail. Lyorio. Lyorio's pragmatic disposition would work against him. As much as he desperately wants to become a professional doctor, he would not push through a written exam he did not know the answers to, despite the courage he's otherwise displayed. His limited understanding of Nen has scarcely improved throughout the show's duration, and he's decisively the weakest protagonist of the original four. His teleporting punch ability may be somewhat useful, though it would not stop Choji's expansion of Kiba's Fang over Fang, two of the tournament's weaker combatants. Would pass. Killua. Despite being the only one not to have passed in the original Hunter exam, either iteration of Killua, whether using assassination or lighting techniques, would be enough to decimate his competition. He's shown courage against overwhelming odds, entailing fortitude against Gaara, the Sound Ninja, and other hazardous obstacles he might come across. One of his most intimidating skills is the ability to rip out one's heart in the blink of an eye. It would be enough to defeat the series' less prepared opponents, including Shikamaru, Neji, and possibly even Naruto himself. Would fail. Ponzu. Ponzu insects work much like Shinos. She's able to produce them from her person, specifically her hat, utilizing them to swarm opponents in vast numbers and claim her victory. However, she does not possess Aburame's calculating, intelligent mentality, nor are the bees themselves able to drain chakra. Further, her control over them is not as decisive as her counterparts, as seen when she's accidentally trapped herself in a cave and was forced to be rescued by Gon as a consequence. Would pass. Hisoka. Hisoka's bungee gum would dramatically increase his odds of victory. Able to conceal it entirely and attach it to his victims through a small flick of his wrist, he would immediately have a staggering advantage against powerful opponents like Rock Lee and Gaara. The only issues he may encounter are against Sasuke, Hinata, and Neji, who would be able to see through his tricks through the Sharingan and Byakugan respectively. Nonetheless, he would pose a difficult opponent to defeat, especially if he managed to play off Ichura's surly disposition. Would fail Buhara. Despite his awesome physical power and status as a professional hunter, the Chunin Exams were not constructed with a man like Buhara in mind. He would not have the agility to outrun many of his opponents, making it difficult for him to retrieve Earth or Heaven scrolls if they were snatched out of his possession. Additionally, his massive stature would make him vulnerable to many of his attackers. It would be difficult to dodge Ino's mind transfer, impossible to evade Gaara's sand, and his large frame would prove abundant shadow for Shikamaru to use against him. Would pass Illumi Zoldyck. One of the deadliest assassins in the Zoldyck family and fiercely independent, Illumi would pass the Chunin Exams even without a team to work with. His worldly experience would enable him to see through the first trial effortlessly, preying off opportune targets in the second before they realized his presence. As one of the few hunters with skill enough to rival Hisoka and a presence that strikes terror into an otherwise seasoned Killua, defeating the other combatants would be trivial. That's it, folks. The 5 hunters that would probably pass the Chunin Exams and 5 that wouldn't stand a chance. Can you think of anyone else? Comment below and let us know. And like always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome videos.